Hey guys, it's Pam from Catholic Living, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about theology of the body, but this is more about my story. And what I want to tell you a little bit about is how when you say yes to God, when you just listen to Him and do what He is asking you to do and calling you to do, that He will just open doors for you. It's unbelievable. And many years ago, when I was, I've always been Catholic my whole entire life, raised Catholic, went to Catholic schools, grade schools, high schools. I went to a Catholic college, graduated from a Catholic college. So being Catholic has been a part of who I am. It's been in every fiber of my being is Catholic. So I've never doubted my faith as far as not believing. I've always been a faithful Catholic, but for many years I didn't know my faith, and oftentimes you don't know what you don't know. And when I started on the journey of trying to understand more about God and the Bible and about my faith, why should I believe this if, just because I grew up Catholic, why should I believe this? Is this something that I really truly believe, or is it just because I grew up that way? And I didn't want to believe in something just because that's what I was told to believe. I wanted to believe it because it was the right thing and it was what I truly believed. So God kept bringing little things into my path that taught me little things about more and more about my faith. And He brought me to a place where I met this young woman, and she and I was leading like a mom's group, and she said that something that I said had changed her life and changed the way that she looked at her motherhood. And so we struck up this friendship. And she would invite me to Mass. She had become, after meeting me and going through these classes, I was not a daily Mass goer. I hadn't been to confession in years because I had gone to a parish where they would do like a general absolution kind of thing at Easter time. And so I just kind of had fallen away from a lot of the practices that were a vital part of our faith, but I wasn't practicing it. I wasn't doing it, and didn't really understand the need for it. So she invited me to daily Mass, and I kept making excuses because I knew after daily Mass was confession, and I really didn't want to go to confession. And so I kept making these excuses. They were lame. And so finally I thought, I've got to, if I'm going to salvage, if I'm going to keep this friendship, at some point I'm going to have to go to Mass with her because, I keep just telling her no. It's going to hurt her feelings. So finally one day I said yes. And I hemmed and hawed and really got into studying and trying to figure out, okay, I'm going to go to confession. This has been, 20 years since I've been to confession. I am going to have to really do an examen of conscience, and I did, and it was unbelievable. And so I thought, how in the world am I going to remember all this stuff? So I wrote it down, and I took it with me and went to Mass. I went to confession, and the priest that I go to is hard of hearing, so he really couldn't hear a lot of the things that I was saying. But I pull out my list and I just start reading, and he's being very patient with me. And after Mass, I go out into the parking lot and we're chatting, and we were chatting about family and about the importance of teaching children to love themselves, and that our children, we are all made in the image and likeness of God, and the importance of that. And she said, oh, I've got something that I want. She gave me this 4 CD set, and it was of Christopher West. And I loved it so much. I started listening to it on the way home, and just absolutely fell in love with what he was saying. It resonated so much. He used practical terms. He was down to earth. He was funny. He used music that I recognized, movies that I recognized, and really it touched my heart. And I couldn't give the CDs back to her, so I had to buy a whole brand new set and have them shipped to her home because I couldn't let it go. I was like, this stuff is unbelievable. I can't believe that, you know, we have this gold mine inside of our faith, and it needs to be taught. It needs to be shared with other people. And I didn't know what that was going to look like or how that was going to pan out. But the group that invited me to start doing these videos, this Catholic living segments of videos, is Family Renewal Project. And the basis of their entire ministry is based on Pope John Paul II, Saint Pope John Paul II's Theology of the Body. And I had no idea that day that she was going to hand me something that was going to change my life. And God is so good. It just occurred to me the other day that it was the moment that I said yes to God by going to daily Mass, when I said yes to God by going to confession for the first time in 20 years, He handed me what my future was going. God is so good. He loves you so much, and He has a plan for you. I hope that this story inspires people who have wanted to invite people to daily Mass or invite friends to go to confession. I hope this inspires people who are being invited by friends to daily Mass or to confession or whatever. Don't give up. You can do it. God has a plan for you, and He loves you, and He wants you to walk this walk with Him. This story, discovering your story, it's not just your story. It's actually His story, and you have a vital role in it. And it's so beautiful, and we are so, so blessed to be able to have such a loving God that just keeps inviting us. He keeps asking us and drawing us nearer to Him. So if you're getting those invitations, if you are sending out those invitations, don't give up. You just never know what is going to come out of a little invitation. And I am so grateful to that young woman. I am so grateful to St. Pope John Paul II for just teaching us how to look at our humanity in this beautiful way. And God has, He has provided us with a beautiful, beautiful map of how to get to heaven. And it's so simple. It's almost mind-blowing how simple it is, but you are going to feel joy and love that you could never imagine, a peace that you could never imagine if you just say yes to God. He has a plan for you. He loves you. He wants you to walk this walk with Him. Don't give up. Don't be afraid. God loves you, and God bless you.